Hey everybody, Andy here, aka Montolio, and we're back for another Vintage League today. And this is a brew I built. Uh, Basically it's a blue-black Sedgemoor Witch deck, and it's got 4 Cabal therapies in it. And I kind of feel like Cabal therapy is an underplayed card in general outside of Dredge, and going back to the Grixis Pyromancer days of yore. If you've ever combined a Cabal Therapy with a young Pyromancer, it's pretty good value. Despite the Sedgemoor's a little slower at 3, we get to gain a life with the therapy to boot if we're able to set it up. So let's see how this goes. Playing against Tidbar, I have no idea what they're playing. The question is can I gamble on keeping a Mox in hand here? If I find a land, there's a chance I can cast Deathrite. I think I'm going to keep it. This is a bit of a gamble. It obviously looks pretty bad if I don't find anything. And of course, if my opponent drops a Mishra's Workshop, I could just die. So this is greedy. But sometimes, being greedy can pay off. Well, this is quite a start for my opponent. So we're looking for a land here. This stuff's actually not too bad. We'll play the Mox, and I guess we'll pass turn. We've got Flusterstorm and Mental Misstep up. My opponent's like, what? I'm going to hit that. I don't see a reason not to. Brainstorm is a pretty good card. Oh, Daphne, you bugger. All right, that's brutal. Yeah. I mean, look, you get punished sometimes, right? And sometimes you look like you're really smart when you keep these hands. And, for all intensive purposes, having a blue color Mox is pretty good. I had 2 chances at drawing a land. I didn't. Um, and as a result of that, my whole hand has fallen apart. But yeah, all right. Got roasted. So I don't recommend you try that at home, kids. But um, I still would do the same thing, even after what happened to me. Put in the same situation. I think that with an on-color Mox, being able to hold up Flusterstorm and being on the draw, there's a chance I draw a land. My hand looks really good, and so I'm not sure what we're up against here. This is a look at the deck. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Sometimes you just get punished, right? We would like to play first, thank you. Much better hand. We will keep that one first. Okay, well, why don't we just get a black source, and we will cast a Deathrite. You will not get off as easy this game, opponent. Well, that said, my opponent dropped 2 Moxes on me last game and went off, so. Soul Ring. I'm not crazy to see that, actually. Next turn, when I have Flusterstorm up, I will probably Demonic Tutor again. looking for an ancestral recall, right? So demonic tutor, and then I can get ancestral, and have Flusterstorm backup. But this could be an awkward turn here. You know, they could be setting up a Tinker or something like that with Fluster backup, which puts us in a pretty bad spot. But let us see. Lotus, yeah. So hopefully they're not hard casting a Citadel. That would be a little rough for me. That's what they're doing. They're going for a Tinker. Okay, Tinker. They can currently pay for Flusterstorm. So I'm going to build my storm count up. See what we can find. Okay. Is this a Flusterstorm on their end? Yes. Well, I cannot pay for that. But I guess what I can do is I can attempt to put a Flusterstorm on them. All on their Tinker. Let's see how that goes. So they got another, no, they got Ancestral. Geez, okay. Well, not much I could do there. Hopefully we get the stop here. If they find another Fluster, it's pretty rough for us. But cannot pay for that. All right. I mean, we set ourselves back a little bit, but we were able to stop the Tinker, which is a game-ending play, which I think is pretty good. Ooh, geez, that's really nice too. So we've got a lot of options here. And one of the options I'm contemplating, I mean, the easy one is to go and get an Ancestral Recall. But what we could do is we could actually Demonic Tutor, and we can go and get a Narset and cast it. And I do like that. Because Narset really hurts what they're trying to do. I mean, the question is it going to resolve, right? I mean, they didn't find Force of Will. They didn't. There's no way they had Force of Will last turn, right? Like they let me resolve a. Well, I guess Force of Will does not stop Flusterstorm though, so there's no guarantees this is going to work. And it is really bad value for me. It is really bad value because if they do have the Force, I lose my my Lotus in addition to this. Force of Negation. Luck. So I suspect this is going to get countered. I can counter a Daze. I can stop a Daze. Well, here's the thing. Is there a world where I preordain first? Could I find something? I don't think so. Maybe no, I think I'm just going to do this. I'm going to feint that I've got a Flusterstorm up. I mean, my opponent's going to stop this if they have the ability to do it. They're going to, Flusterstorm or not, if they have it, they're going to try and counter this. They're thinking I have Flusterstorm up right now, though, likely, but I don't have an option. I have to do it. I think baiting the Flusterstorm is probably better here than searching for something off the top of my library with Preordain. That will not stop what my opponent's doing. Oh, repeal. We got a Flusterstorm up, and I don't mind Flusterstorm here. I also like the probe, though. I think I'd get Flusterstorm here. Try and protect my Narset. Now, this doesn't look as good for me if they drop a Sedgewitch here. Not much I could do to stop that, though. But if they don't have a Sedgewitch, then I really like the Narset because these decks are really trying to cantrip. Oh, wow, look at my opponent here. Yeah, there's the Sedgewitch. Okay. I'm gonna let that resolve. They've got the red man up, so they're likely looking for something like a Pyroblast. All right, well, I mean, it's not looking good here. We need to find our own Sedgewitch, which is easier said than done. So first things first, let's use Narset and see what we can find. I mean, we have a reasonable chance of finding a Sedgewitch. Not off Narset, of course, but in general. The bigger issue is more our mana constraints. So this does help a little bit. This does help. This does help. Mm, probably should have done that another way because of Mystic Sanctuary, but I think that's okay. We're going to find another land here at some point. So let's do this. I don't really want either of these, to be honest, because I'm going to be digging. Okay. We need some help here. There it is. I'm not going to dig through time here. I'm going to try and hold up 2 Flusterstorms. And, you know, if they've got a Bolt, I mean, it's still likely not good enough, but I'm going to do my best. Try and win a fight here. I also have the option of digging. You know, they've only got 1 card in hand, so it's not going to be easy for them. Just coming after my Narset, I gather. No! Look at that. How nice is that? I am not going to expose my dig here. I mean, let's get her going. Let's see if we can resolve this. I actually should have played my Mox first. Now that I think about it, to increase my storm count, this is really bad if this doesn't resolve. And it just resolves. Okay. Well, we got a lot of good options here. I can decimate their hand with Cabal Therapy, which is not the worst. But I think I like Force of Will. in a second Sedgemoor. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see how this goes. The good news there is if this resolves and then they try and do something end of turn, we're going to have a serious storm count going. Okay, so this is actually going to, unfortunately, it's a situation here where I wish I had the second Sedgemoor down on the table for this Flusterstorm, but it's still going to be very solid. And this is why Sedgemoor is such a good card. You know, back in the day when we used to have 4 mentors, we played 4 mentors. And despite I've played a myriad of different numbers of Sedgemoor, which since it's been released, I do think it's very good in 4-ofs when you build a shell around it, and Flusterstorm is definitely the best card of that lot to build around it. Now, Flusterstorm doesn't look good when you obviously run into Mishra's Workshop, but I think that's okay. So we don't want to attack in here. Opponent has 1 card in hand. Like every cantrip we find now is just absolute dynamite. Second Sedgemoor Witch. I think we fight over that. I don't really want them playing on an even playing ground as me. Arcanist, yeah. I mean, Arcanist is a nice one, but it's going to die and it can't draw any cards. So we're both hellbent. And I mean, I feel like I'm favored here, but not by a ton. There's lots of top decks that can make this awkward. Brainstorm was a really good one. And of course, of note, I haven't even used the Deathrite Shaman in this particular match, but oh wow, Cabal Therapy. Cabal Therapy is not really great right now. Um, it is 3-for-1 value though with that Cabal Therapy. And it is a cantrip, but I feel like I need something more proactive. So I'm going to put that one away, and I'm going to throw this guy on top. The problem with this, they can trade with these, so I'm just going to attack with a whole bunch of tokens here. I think this is fine. I mean, we're going to start pressuring. I probably could attack with my Sedgemoor Witches too, but we're just so far advantaged. Like, you know, they're just got, 4 damage and which is pretty solid. And we will Deathrite at the end of their turn. Definitely will target their Ancestral. Or whatever it is they target with the Dread Horde. Deathrite, pulling some weight. I don't know if the Deathrites are right in this deck, but it's some ramp, and obviously has some typical Deathrite features to it, and that I do think we attack in with everything here. I'm not too worried about Arcanist because I have the Deathrite. But there's a world if they Pyroblast me, my Narset or something, it's not ideal. Yep. I will kill their Sedgemoor. You can't block like that. You got to double block. Opponent doesn't know the menace feature of their Sedgemoor Witch, but there's a substantial amount of damage coming through. All right, well, that one ended up working out pretty good. We were on the back foot there when they had a Sedgemoor, and we ended up stringing 3 of them together. So I think that's pretty cool. So now we have a better idea what's going on. Just wondering, do I want something like Fatal Push? I think Fatal Push, given they have Arcanist as well, could be all right. We have a Reanimate here to make that a little bit better for us. I mean, the question is what do I want to take out? Like, can I cheat and go to 14 lands? Yes, we can. Actually, you know what? I think it's too late now. I probably would cut a Cabal Therapy for the land. Like, that is greedy of me to go down to 14, but knowing a deck does not have Wastelands in it, yeah, I mean, it's a good hand. We can Cabal Therapy them. We can take a look for Force of Will. Top one, bottom. Flusterstorm is the card that scares me. Like, if I go to their upkeep and they can Flusterstorm me, but the Ancestral right here is really bad. I think I'll Therapy. Probably I'm going to name Flusterstorm. It's a card that scares me the most. We missed. A little bit awkward, isn't it? Preordained, yes. Two cards on top. If they want to Flusterstorm this, I think it's fine. They're all pretty good. Pass turn. Brainstorm. Let that go. I mean, they need to find another land or a mox. There's a possibility we could lose this fight because they have a force of will. I still have Ancestral. I still have Gush. And if they don't find a fetch, that Brainstorm may not be good. Okay, so here comes the Tinker. They are going to be able to tinker here. Did they find a land? They did not. I think Flusterstorm is pretty good here. Gonna Ancestral myself. We might have to discard here, but we still have a land drop to make. Yeah, Force of Will. That's 3. Gush. Oh yeah, Mox. Love it. That was great. This might induce a fight. I don't know if I'm playing this optimally. I'm really not thinking things through probably as well as I should. I don't mind the jet here, but not necessary. I really kind of just liking have a lot of counter magic. I'm going to take Force of Will. Let me take a preordain. That's what I'll do. Do I have to discard this way? No. So we got double Force of Will and Flusterstorm up, and that's solid. I could take Tinker away. I don't mind that, to be honest. Spell for a spell. The question is, did they hide their Tinker? And they had a Lightning Bolt as well, so this is much more reasonable. Let's see if we got it. Oh, those guys. That was brilliant. Okay. Opponent got me real good there. So Sedgemoor is coming. 2 cards on top of their library. They're not keen to put anything away. There's a Sedgemoor for us. I'm going to play it. Maybe I don't. My Lotus is gone, right? Yeah. Okay. So we got that next turn. So I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pass just like this. We're going to get double Sedgemoor Witch going. My opponent is really liking what they have in their hand, I can tell you that much. I'm just going to fetch now. Get a black source. My opponent contemplating doing something right now. Ancestral Recall. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm unhappy about it, but it is what it is. It's a big power play from my opponent because I'm burning my counter magic here. And I know they have Tinker, right? So, can I pay for this? I can, and I can still hold up Fluster. Yeah, I'll do that. Force of Will, Tinker gone. So they've decided they're going to let their Tinker go. All right. Pretty good counter battle. I think their Flusterstorm's gone, right? Yeah, they flustered there. So they've got a Bolt and a Sedgemoor Witch. And so Sedgemoor's just going to come down now because I think they've expended themselves. Arcanist, okay. Arcanist is just gorgeous for them. I'm going to have to go and find myself a Fatal Push, I think. Which is obviously not ideal. They have Fluster, we just get blown out. But okay, so I think they've got Bolt and Sedgemoor. I think that is their hand. There's the Sedgemoor. And let's cantrip and see what we can find. Treasure Cruise would be great. I like these cards. They've got a Bolt, but I lost my therapies. Don't have a therapy anymore. Just gonna pay, because there's no reason to pay life here. Now they're gonna bolt my Sedgemoor, which kind of sucks. So they've got a Force of Will and a Bolt. Okay. We got a dogfight going here. What's problematic for me in this particular situation is if they found a blue spell, there's a chance they could get my Sedgemoor, and then I'm distinctly losing the battle. Oh, apparently we are behind on time. It's a good draw. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I should have played a fat share. That was actually a fairly significant mistake, to be honest with you. Next turn, what can we go and get? I guess we can get a dig through time. There's my Sedgemoor. And we're gonna, actually, what I can do, which is even better, is I can now go and get my Mystic Sanctuary, and we will Sanctuary my dig through time back. I'm going to preordain. And we're gonna go, I don't want to think too hard about this because we just need to get moving. Hopefully this resolves. And what did we find? We found a Sedgemoor. And what else? Kind of just like Knight's Whisper, to be honest with you. I could have Cabal Therapied there. Let's take a look here. Do they have Force of Will? Light Steel and Mox Pearl. Okay, so we're in the clear here. Let me just do that. Treasure Cruise is magnificent. Do that. Tradesies. You just want my one? You got it. Okay, we're gonna win next turn for sure if we get to resolve a time walk. One of the problems when you're doing videos like this is I end up getting talking away a whole bunch, and you do whittle your time away, and you get in a situation like this, like I've got 2 minutes, and we are playing a control deck for all intensive purposes, and it puts a lot of pressure on you to be able to close the game out. Now, obviously, having found a couple Sedgemoor Witches, that changed, and we should be okay. But if my opponent finds a board wipe of some regard, we're in a substantial amount of trouble here. Now, of course, I don't think that is likely that my opponent would have that, but We're going to cast this, and I'm going to cast a Time Walk, and we'll see if my opponent can answer that. They've got a Flusterstorm. Okay. Well, that's a bit awkward because they've got some mana to pay for stuff. Probably should just... yeah, I can just pay 3, right? Yes. Yes. Uh, yes, I'd like to pay. Do not want to attack with those. Don't want to attack with those. And yeah, let's get some trades in here. Funny enough, there's no lands in the graveyard for me to use my Fatal Push here. It's funny. Minute left. Let's see if we can do it. There we go. There's a fetch land. A little too close for the hair on my chinny chin chin, but we'll take that win, guys. Quad Sedwich. I don't know that I really got an opportunity to showcase how good Cabal Therapy is in that situation, but anyways, I really do like Cabal Therapy. I think it's just really underutilized, and with Sedgemoor Witch, it's just so good.